So, cooking with wild diversity, a lot of this class is about, moving from just the foraging and everything that you learn at the tracker school towards really incorporating it in whatever way you can into your daily life. And I mean, interested in myself just hearing what everybody's going to talk about. It should be pretty interesting
Mhm.
overall. I'm going to concentrate on pumpkins because I'm obsessed with
Yeah.
pumpkins
Oh
for
yeah.
right now.
Yeah, when I was visiting my family in Ocean City one year during I guess it was like before Christmas, but people had just thrown out like their Halloween and Thanksgiving pumpkins, not the ones they carved, but ones they just had sitting on their steps. They last super long, but they were just ready to put out their Christmas decorations, so they had thrown like two huge pumpkins in the dumpster, and the dumpster looked clean enough, so I took them home and I made a ton of pumpkin pie and pumpkin juice and toasted the pumpkin seeds. Yeah, we don't get that around here so much. People don't really buy pumpkins; they're too expensive.
Does squash grow there? Any type of hard
Yeah,
shell
yeah.
squash?
There's a type of squash that's. I mean, people call it pumpkin here, but it doesn't look like your typical orange pumpkin from the States. It's got more of like a green and orange mottled skin, but it's basically a type of pumpkin.
So squash is a weekly part of your diet there.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So part of this is not only with the wild foraging and the diversity in cooking. The underlying theme here is we do that because we do want a healthier body. We do want to have access to more nutrition. We do that in our own setting. Grandfather had said that the landscape dictates your diet. You have to see where you live and what your needs are. So how long have you been on the island there living full time?
13 years.
How did just your own diet change and what you look to include in it?
I'd say it changed gradually as we began to eat more and more from our land and less from the grocery store here. Um, so basically, I pretty much eliminated grains over the course of the years here because there's not really any local grains. And like part of my thing is eating local as much as possible. Like if I'm not growing it in my yard, I want to be able to get it from the farmer's market. So
Mhm.
replacing grains with local starches like breadfruit, green banana, cassava, sweet potato, yam. There's a ton of tropical starches, and there's so much you can do with them, like even making bread with them.
Do you do more flatbreads or like a traditional loaf of bread, or what are you
Yeah,
talking about with
because
some of the breads?
like we don't have a conventional oven. We just have like if I'm gonna bake something, it's more of a process. Like I either have to heat up the clay oven outside or start a fire and cook it in a Dutch oven. So I don't do a lot of baking. I mainly, yeah, I do a lot of flatbreads.
Awesome, because I want to hear more about it.
Okay.
So, any of the comments from you on just things that you have found helpful, just making you perform well, have energy, be able to recuperate easy. For some people, it might be vitamins. For some people, it might be always having stinging nettle around. Is there anything that pops out to you that you really like to have in your diet because it helps?
I would say something that's not really considered as a food, but I consider it a food, is sunlight, because that's how we get our vitamin D. And um, like that early morning sunlight is such an important nutrient. I feel like if you get up early in the morning and you get that early sunlight in your eyes, I've been doing some research on this, and like the light changes throughout the day, and the different qualities of light trigger different hormones in us, which helps us to be in tune with our circadian rhythm, and it helps all of our hormones to stay in balance so we're functioning at our best. So that early morning light starts to wake us up and it energizes us for the day. And then that midday light, the UV light, UV light gets such a bad rap, but that UV, as long as we're not overdoing it, it actually it helps stimulate cortisol naturally, like at the time that we're supposed to experience cortisol. Like cortisol gets a
Right.
bad rap too. It's like the stress hormone. um, but it's actually like a natural hormone for us to have, and like you want to have the right amounts of it at the right time, which is around the time that the UV light starts to come out, around 10-11 a.m. And then that's when we get more energy and we're doing stuff in the middle of the day. And then that the light, like as the sun starts to go down, the UV light goes away, and it's more of like the softer lights that helps trigger the hormones like serotonin that help us to calm down
Hmm.
and go to sleep. And so, I'd say that's a big one for me as far as like lifestyle.
Well, thanks a lot, Carmen. I appreciate you spending some time.
Sure. Thanks, Dave. I'll see you in a couple days.